Still in the morning session, so good morning to you all. This is a continuation of my small speech at the opening. I am indeed honored and privileged to have with me in this panel session, four eminent speakers over here, which really need no introduction in the market. I think you'll find a brief bio about them in the booklet and on the website, but just for the sake of courtesy, I will only mention Madame Lamia over here. Everybody knows her. Vasilis on my left side. Then we have, Farid. Then we have Vasilis, and then we have Mr. Akim from Hanover Re. We will do this interactive session. There will be some brief presentations just to set the scene. There will be questions by me as a moderator just to have some thought-provoking questions. And I will really try to connect with the couple of words I said earlier on. And then we'll obviously open the floor for any questions you have. I think, Mr. Taysir, we are slotted 2 hours. Am I correct? I see the program 11 till 1. So 2 hours. God, you're giving us, first time I see they're giving not 2 hours and 10 minutes. Okay. I think this is a big challenge to keep the interest of the audience for 2 hours and 10 minutes. So I will consider this a personal challenge to try to speak and deliberate, but who knows? Yes, thank you.
Okay, please. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. I think let us begin, and I said we'll do a mix in this session. I'd like to begin over here with Madame Lamia, who just wants to set the scene over here about the insurance markets in the fair region in general. What are the challenges? What are the opportunities? And then we'll pick up. Please reserve your questions. There will definitely be the time that you have over these. And just keep in mind the theme of the seminar. The theme of the seminar is the reinsurance opportunities beyond the traditional insurance. Whilst we can speak on many, many subjects, if we can just focus on this particular theme, it would be appreciated. Madame Lamia, you want to do podium? You want to sit down? As you please.
Okay. I would like, first of all, to greet you all. As you know, I'm a French speaker, so I prefer give my presentation in French. But I see that the majority of participants understand Arabic, so I will do it in Arabic. I'm sorry for the rest. I think there is a translation. Sorry for this. بداية أود أن أتوجه بالتحية لكل الحضور وأعتذر من البعض الذي قد لن يتمكن من متابعتي، ولكن الترجمة متوفرة. سأتناول موضوع هذه الجلسة الذي يتعلق بسوق إعادة التأمين والتحديات التي تواجهها. سأتناوله من خلال 3 محاور أساسية. كمدخل للموضوع سأستعرض الوضع العام لإعادة التأمين في العالم، التحديات والآفاق، لأعرج فيما بعد حول التموقع الاستراتيجي للسوق الأفرو آسيوي لإعادة التأمين في هذا المشهد العالمي، ثم لأختتم بتوجهات تجديدات 2019 كما انبثقت عن آخر ملتقى في مونتي كارلو. إذن في الحقيقة لم تشهد صناعة إعادة التأمين على مر التاريخ يعني تغيرات جذرية، لا في طبيعة ولا طريقة إنجاز المعاملات ونموذج الأعمال أو في الفاعلين الرئيسيين، ولا في هيكلة المحفظة للسوق. كما تلاحظون كما تبينه المعطيات، يعني منذ 1980 إلى غاية هذا التاريخ، إلى غاية آخر الإحصائيات المتعلقة بسنة 2017 لم يتغير ترتيب المعيدين الاثنين الأوائل على مدى الفترة الملحوظة، أي على مدى 4 عقود من 1980 إلى 2017 ظلت مونيكري تتصدر قائمة ال10 الأوائل، تليها فيما بعد سويسري. كما أن أكبر معيد تأمين كان يكتتب إلى غاية سنة 2000 حوالي 11 مرة ما كان يكتتبه المعيد في الترتيب ال10، ولا يزال إلى أكبر معيد تأمين يكتتب إلى حد هذا التاريخ دائما أكثر من 5 مرات ونصف ما يكتتبه من أقساط المعيد في الترتيب ال10. وإلى غاية سنة 2000 كان ال10 المعيدين الأوائل إما أوروبيين أو أمريكيين. وقد شهدت السنوات الأخيرة دخول لاعبين جدد من آسيا أساساً. كما تلاحظون نجد شايناري قد احتلت في موافق 2017 الترتيب الثامن، تليها كوريان ري في الترتيب التاسع، ثم GIC في الترتيب ال10. ورغم دخول لاعبين جدد إلى سوق إعادة التأمين إلا أن المشهد لم يتغير كثيراً، حيث أن التمركز يبدو واضحاً وجلياً بل اشتد على مر الوقت. فقد كانت ال5 الأوائل المعيدين ال5 الأوائل يستحوذون على 17% من إجمالي معاملات القطاع، وقد ارتفعت حصتهم تدريجياً إلى أن بلغت في موافق 2017 أكثر من نصف معاملات القطاع بين يدي ال5 الأوائل. 53% من إجمالي معاملات إعادة التأمين يستقطبها ال5 الأوائل، وحوالي 70% وتحديداً 69% أكثر من الثلثين بين يدي ال10 الأوائل. ووسط هذا التمركز هناك تفاوت جلي بين الأوائل في قائمة ال10 وبين ما يليهم. إذن من ناحية ثانية تضاعف حجم أقساط إعادة التأمين بحوالي 3 مرات على مدى الفترة 1998 إلى غاية 2014، ليبدأ بالتراجع خلال ال3 سنوات الأخيرة، ثم ليعود إلى نفس مستواه في 2017 إلى نفس مستواه في 2014. ولكن التحليل الدقيق لهذا لنسق تطور أقساط التأمين le rythme de croissance des primes de réassurance تبين في الحقيقة إشكالية عميقة تتعلق بتآكل أقساط إعادة التأمين une érosion des primes. وهذا التراجع أو التآكل في الأقساط مرده أو يفسر بامتداد دورة السوق المرن أو ما يعرف بالسوفت ماركت، والتي تواصلت فترتها أكثر من المعتاد مما هو معتاد في محيط يتسم بضعف التعويضات وبانخفاض نسب الحوادث في مستويات أدنى من المعدلات العادية. ومن جهة أخرى نلاحظ ازدياداً في فائض رؤوس الأموال المتوفرة، فقد بلغت كميات رؤوس الأموال المتراكمة إلى موفق 2017 ما قدره 605 مليار دولار، بزيادة ب2% بالمقارنة مع 2016. منها 89 مليار متأتية من تدفق هائل لإعادة التأمين البديلة la Reinsurance alternative، والتي تواصل نموها باضطراد، حيث ارتفعت إلى 89 مليار دولار مقابل 81 مليار في 2016، أي بزيادة ب10%. ويساهم في الحقيقة هذا الازدياد المتراكم في رؤوس الأموال في القضاء خاصة على لي بيك، ما نعرفش الترجمة نتاعها، لي بيك دو سيكل، في قمم يساهم في القضاء على قمم الدورات، ويؤدي تدريجيا ومع مرور الوقت إلى تسطيح هذه الدورات لابلاتيسمون دو سيكل، وبالتالي أصبح من غير المرجح أن يستنفذ حادثا جسيما هذا الكم الهائل من رؤوس الأموال في القطاع. لذلك فهذا التراجع العام للأسعار والفائض الكبير في القدرات الاكتتابية والمنافسة الشديدة ينعكس على النتائج الفنية ويبقيها تحت الضغط. وكما تلاحظون فإن معدل مؤشر الحوادث، يعني لو راسيو كومبيني كومبايند ريشيو، المعدل هذا المؤشر على مدى الفترة 1997 2006 بلغ 106%، وبلغ هذا المعدل في العشرية الأخيرة 2007 2017 94%، ليتفاقم بصفة جلية في سنة 2017 ويبلغ معدله السنوي لسنة 2017 108%. وقد انعكست هذه الحوادث وهذا التفاقم على نتائج كبريات الإعادة كما تبينه المعطيات، ولكن ومع ذلك بقيت هذه الخسائر في حدود إمكانيات هذه الشركات الكبرى رغم أن مردوديتها المالية تراجعت بشكل كبير. إذن كان من المتوقع أن تساهم الحوادث الحاصلة في الثلاثية الأخيرة من 2017 الكوارث المتأتية من إيرما وهارفي في تعديل الكفة وإعادة التوازن للتعريفات، إلا أن أداء السوق في 2018 لم يكن في الحقيقة في مستوى التطلعات والترقبات رغم الانتعاشة الطفيفة التي شهدها السوق في معاملاته سنة 2017 وحتى في بداية 2018، ولكن لم تكفي الخسائر المسجلة في سنة 2017 لتعديل دورة هبوط الأقساط، وحافظت إعادة التأمين على صلابتها وصمودها في مجال الكوارث، وذلك لابد أن نقر به بفضل إعادة التأمين البديلة التي رغم مزاحمتها لإعادة التأمين التقليدية إلا أنها توفر من ناحية أخرى حماية لشركات الإعادة من خلال ليكات بونز. إذن تبين كل هذه المؤشرات أن قطاع إعادة التأمين يواجه ظاهرة هيكلية طويلة المدى وليست ظاهرة عابرة، يبدو أنها تنبئ بتحولات عميقة نتيجة لتحديات متعددة، ولكن كل هذه التحديات تظل لا تخلو من عدة فرص واعدة. لو نحوصل إذن أهم التحديات، التحدي الأول له علاقة بإنشائنا بشروط السوق التشغيلية les conditions opérationnelles du marché. فإلى جانب الضغط التسعيري وفائض الطاقات الاكتتابية والمنافسة الشديدة ينضاف إلى هذه العوامل تحول جلي في طبيعة المخاطر. طبيعة المخاطر هي كذلك بصدد التغير، وقد بدأت إعادة التأمين تشهد بروز مخاطر كانت غير ذات أهمية في الماضي. على سبيل المثال القرصنة لا سيبر سيكوريتي مثال بدأ مستوى الاهتمام به يزداد بسرعة كبيرة نتيجة الارتفاع المتزايد والدقة والتنوع في الهجمات. مثال آخر الهجرة بالقوة لا ميغراسيون فورسي وما ينجر عنها من مخاطر إرهابية لم تكن في 2018 مصنفة ضمن قائمة 30 خطر، قائمة 30 مخاطر القصوى، ولكنها احتلت المرتبة الثالثة في 2017. جسامة الخسائر في حالة وقوعها l'intensité des dégâts تزايدت كذلك بصفة كبيرة، إذ تبين الدراسات أن حوالي 60% من السكان في العالم سينتقلون إلى مناطق حضرية من هنا إلى أفق 2030، وهو ما يشكل تفاقما في المخاطر ويعرض الأشياء والأشخاص لأكثر مخاطر. التحدي الثاني وله علاقة بالمنظومة التشريعية. المنظومة التشريعية في الحقيقة تشهد تطورات متسارعة، فضلا عن solvabilité 2 l'IFRS 17 la conformité compliance مع كل مخاطر تبييض الأموال. كل هذه التطورات التشريعية تزيد في الالتزامات شركات الإعادة، وتمثل تحديا من التحديات التي تواجهها، هذا فضلا على التطورات التكنولوجية والتحول الرقمي الذي أثر على سلوكيات الحرفاء وانعكس بصفة مباشرة على نموذج الأعمال التقليدي لشركة التأمين ومن ورائها لشركات إعادة التأمين كذلك. التحدي الأخير والهام كذلك يرتبط عموما بعدم ملائمة المحيط العام، فالمحيط الاقتصادي والمالي غير مستقر، المحيط الجيوسياسي يبقى تحت الضغط، هذا فضلا على التغيرات المناخية. إذن مع كل هذه التغيرات التي تواجهها صناعة إعادة التأمين توجد عدة فرص واعدة، من أهمها إمكانية التوسع في مناطق جديدة وأسواق واعدة تظل نسب التغطية فيها غير كافية، ووعي التأمين فيها يتزايد تدريجيا مع إمكانية بطبيعة الحال توفير تغطيات جديدة باعتبار المخاطر المتنامية. كذلك التطور التكنولوجي يفتح مجالا للاستثمار في الشركات الناشئة تسكي انشورتك، ويتيح لشركات الإعادة للتموقع في سلسلة الإنتاج toute la chaîne de valeur. من ضمن الآفاق والفرص كذلك المتاحة هي التكتلات والاندماجات. من ناحية أخرى هنالك فرص أخرى للتكامل والشراكة بين القطاع الخاص والقطاع العام، خاصة في مجال التصرف في المخاطر الكبرى مثل مخاطر الكوارث الطبيعية والمخاطر المناخية. إذن في هذا المشهد المتحرك والذي يتسم كما رأينا بتمركز عميق ومنافسة شديدة وتحديات متعددة، ولكنه في نفس الوقت يتيح مجالات واعدة وفرص مفتوحة، ما هو وضع أو ما هو الموقع الاستراتيجي لإعادة التأمين على المستوى الإقليمي في آسيا وفي إفريقيا؟ في آسيا في الحقيقة لا تخلو كذلك من إشكاليات تدني الأسعار وطفرة في الطاقات والمنافسة الشديدة والاضطرابات الجيوسياسية في بعض المناطق. إفريقيا منطقة معرضة لعدم الاستقرار السياسي، تبقى تحت ضغط الإجراءات والقيود الحمائية، كما أنها تعاني من تدهور العملات المحلية وتفاقم مخاطر تقلبات الصرف، ولكنها تتيح إمكانيات واعدة ونتائجها تبقى إيجابية. فماذا إذن عن السوق الإفريقي لإعادة التأمين؟ السوق الإفريقي لإعادة التأمين وباستثناء l'Africaré التي تبقى المعيد الإفريقي الوحيد المصنف ضمن التوب 40 ضمن 40 الأوائل، فإننا يمكن أن نحاصر أهم مواطن الضعف إعادة التأمين الإفريقية في الحجم الصغير لمعيدي التأمين الأفارقة، في كذلك تراجع أقساط التأمين خاصة مع تقلبات سعر صرف العملات المحلية. نسب الخسائر صحيح غير مرتفعة، ولكن تقابلها مصاريف تصرف عالية تبلغ معدل 20% مقابل 7% على المستوى العالمي، وتصنيفات متواضعة عموما. ولكن في مقابل هذه مواطن الضعف هذه نجد مواطن قوة تتمثل في آفاق تطور واعدة نظرا لضعف اندماج خدمات التأمين، نسب تنمية اقتصادية مرتفعة، منتوجات تأمينية جديدة في مجال المخاطر السياسية، التأمين الفلاحي، التأمين المتناهي الصغر، المخاطر السياسية، القرصنة الإلكترونية، يعني عدة مجالات مفتوحة في هذا المجال. وتبقى المردودية المالية عموما في السوق الإفريقي. ولكن تبقى من أهم إشكاليات هذا السوق مثله مثل غيره هو المزاحمة والمنافسة الشديدة، إذ يتواجد به ما حوالي 37 معيد تأمين محلي، هذا إلى جانب كبريات الإعادة التي تتواجد بصفة كبيرة على مستوى السوق الإفريقي. من أهم إشكالياته كذلك تدهور العملات المحلية ومحدودية الخبرات والقدرات الفنية والطاقات الاكتتابية. ومع ذلك تبقى فرص كبيرة متاحة أمام معيدي التأمين الأفارقة في هذا السوق، خاصة مع الإجراءات الحمائية الجديدة في إطار تشريعي جديد ملائم يتجه نحو تحسين التصرف في المخاطر والحوكمة وتدعيم القاعدة المالية للمعيدين المحليين للزيادة في نسب الاحتفاظ. كذلك من الفرص التي تمكن من تدعيم إعادة التأمين على مستوى القارة الإفريقية هي تكثيف عملية إحداث المجمعات لمزيد تدعيم القدرات الاكتتابية. وهناك كذلك حركية في الاندماجات بين الفاعلين في هذا السوق. إذن ماذا عن السوق؟ ماذا عن إعادة التأمين الآسيوية؟ في الحقيقة بقدر ما تسعى الإعادة الإفريقية لتثبيت تموقعها في فضاء انتمائها الجغرافي من خلال إيجاد إجراءات حمائية كثيفة، نلاحظ أن الإعادة الآسيوية بدأت تتجه نحو تعديل الكفة مع الإعادة العالمية، حيث نجد عدد من المعيدين الآسيويين قد تموقعوا ضمن 10 الأوائل في سوق إعادة التأمين العالمية، ولكنهم مع ذلك يواجهون منافسة شديدة ويبقون تحت ضغط الأسعار. إذن ما يمكن أن نحوصله أن سوق إعادة التأمين تشهد تنافسا شديدا تحت تأثير مزدوج لانخفاض المردودية الفنية والمردودية المالية. وفي هذا السياق فإن معيدي التأمين الأكثر تنوعا على المستوى التواجد الجغرافي يبقون في وضع أفضل لمجابهة هذه التحديات. ولا شك أن هشاشة لا فراجيليتي تعاون أن هشاشة الصغار ومتوسطي المعيدين قد ازدادت في هذا الواقع الجديد، خاصة مع تدفق الإعادة البديلة ومزاحمتها الشديدة. لذلك اتجهت هذه الفئة من صغار ومتوسطي المعيدين نحو الاندماج والتقارب مع شركاء آخرين كإجراء دفاعي. والسؤال المطروح دائما والذي يظل قائما هو متى سيتوقف هذا التآكل المتواصل للأسعار وهذه المنافسة الغير معقولة؟ كيف ستسير الأمور في التجديدات المنتظرة على الأبواب في 2019؟ في الحقيقة بعد الخسائر الثقيلة المسجلة في 2017 شهدت تجديدات 2018 في جانفي بعض التحسن، إلا أن الانتعاش المنتظرة لم تكن في المستوى المأمول ولم تدم كما تعكسه تجديدات أفريل وتويليا، باستثناء السوق الأمريكي الذي شهد ارتفاعا ملحوظا. وقد ارتفع إجمالي الأقساط في المنتصف الأول ل 2018 ب 13% ليبلغ 144 مليار دولار في النصف الأول، مقابل 127 مليار دولار في النصف الأول من 2017. إذن في هذه الظروف ومع سنة هادئة إلى حد الآن، من المتوقع أن ميزان القوى في تجديدات 2019 يبقى لصالح شركات التأمين، رغم التفاؤل بأن الأسعار والشروط ستتجه نحو الاستقرار عموما، كما سيتواصل الضغط على المردودية خاصة لدى كبار المعيدين الذين يواجهون مزاحمة الإعادة البديلة، وسيتواصل الاتجاه نحو مزيد من التكتلات والاندماجات، ويلاحظ تقاربا جديدا من نوع جديد بين شركات التأمين المباشرة وشركات الإعادة، وهو تقارب لم يكن من المعتاد أو من المتداول وكان نسبيا مرفوض في السابق. فقد أعلنت أكسا أخيرا عن شرائها لإكسل كاتلين، وهي من نوع التقارب والتزاوج الذي لم يكن متداولا في السابق. إذن هذه عموما أهم ملامح الوضع الإعادة والتوجهات المستقبلية. شكرا.
شكرا جزيلا مدام لمي على الاستعراض الشامل لأوضاع إعادة التأمين في الأسواق العالمية، ومن ثم تكلمت وتحدثت عن الأسواق الآسيوية والأفريقية. كم سؤال وردوا لذهني، أسويها بالعربية حتى بعد نمارس اللغة الأم مثل ما يقال. ما هو تقييمك، يعني استعرضت بعض معيدين التأمين، ما هو تقييمك لمعيدي التأمين الأفرا آسيويين؟ هل أدوا الغرض؟ هل بالنسبة لهم في ظل هالعولمة وظل المتغيرات هل حدثوا من أسلوبهم؟ هل هم في عرضة يوم من الأيام مثل ما عم نشوف على الصعيد العالمي، هل هم عرضة للانقراض للاندماج؟ ما هو تحليلك؟ وإذا تريد تتكلمي عن السوق الأفريقي أول وبعدين الآسيوي أترك المجال إليك.
حقيقة هو
شوية تفضل.
الوضع ليس سهلا للجميع، سواء لكبار المعيدين أو للمعيدين الإقليميين بما فيهم المعيدين الإفريقيين أو الآسيويين، ولكن هذه الصعوبة متفاوتة الدرجات حتى بالنسبة للمعيدين الأفرو آسيويين فيما بينهم، لأننا نلاحظ تفاوتا كبيرا بين هؤلاء الفاعلين. والشيء المؤكد أن المعيدين الأكثر تنوعا جغرافيا والمتواجدين في ممتدين ليس فقط في فضاء انتمائهم الجغرافي، ولكن المتوسعين على المستوى إقليمي أكثر أو على مستوى عالمي، هم لهم حظوظ أكثر لمجابهة هذه التحديات، بما يعني أن صغار المعيدين أو متوسطي العلوم من المنطقة الإفريقية أو المنطقة الآسيوية سيواجهون عملية انتقاء ربما طبيعي، إلا في صورة ما كان توجههم نحو مزيد من التكتل ومزيد من الاندماج فيما بينهم. ولكن من ناحية أخرى، سواء تعلق الأمر بمعيدي التأمين الإقليميين أو معيدي التأمين العالميين الجميع يواجهوا تحديات الواقع الجديد. الأمور تغيرت فعلا، لم تعد مظلة إعادة التأمين مجرد فرع من الفروع في شركة التأمين، أصبحت تندرج ضمن استراتيجية مؤسسة التأمين وشركة التأمين، ولم يعد الأمر كما في السابق مجرد إعداد برامج إعادة تأمين لشركة ما، ولكن شركات إعادة التأمين أصبحت مدعوة لإعداد لملائمة إعادة التأمين حالة بحالة حسب طلب حرفائها وخاصيات كل واحد منهم، وهو ما يجعلها مطالبة بإعادة النظر في نموذج أعمالها ومواكبة هذا التحول الرقمي الذي يغير من سلوكيات الحرفاء، يعني وحرفاء شركات الإعادة هم شركات التأمين الذين هم بدورهم مدعوين لمراجعة نموذج أعمالهم التقليدي في ظل هذه الثورة الرقمية الجديدة وتغير سلوك الحريف البائس، يعني المستهلك الأول وهو المؤمن له.
شكرا مدام لميا. Let's me switch to English right now. Mr. Farid, what do you think about what Madam Lamia has said? Do you think that the current market conditions will make it difficult for the small regional Afro-Asian reinsurers to survive, or is it a case of bigger is better? What do you view this as an active regional broker?
Thank you. Thank you, Yasser. Definitely the period we're going through is challenging for all reinsurers. And I'm talking about all reinsurers, whether the global players or the regional ones. If we look at the year 2017, 2017 was one of the costliest losses for the reinsurance industry. $138 billion of claims paid in 2017. What did we see in 2018? A very slight increase in prices. Okay, if you look at the returns that reinsurers are doing, and I'm talking globally, I will come to the region. Okay, the returns are on average between 8 to 9%. So this is very low. So far, they have managed to maintain the appetite of investors because of very low interest rates. But now that the interest rates are increasing, global reinsurers cannot maintain the same level of low returns. Okay, they will have to do better. And this is one of the reasons why we're seeing a lot of mergers happening in the last 12 months. When we look at the region, the reinsurers, and I'm talking Asia, and I'm talking Middle East and Africa, the challenges are even bigger. The challenges are even bigger because today you need a diversified portfolio. You also need to provide added value services, and to provide and you need higher capitalization. So you need more capital, you need better technical capabilities, and this costs money. So small and regional reinsurers will find it very challenging if they don't adapt, if they are not capable of increasing their capital, if they're not capable of improving their technical capabilities. So one of the opportunities is to consider and look at regional reinsurers merging together, because this is the only way out if they must have the size that is needed to compete. There is another aspect that is detrimental specifically for reinsurers that are in the Middle East and Africa. If we compare it to Asia, if they take the example of Korea, Korea is a very big economy and a very big insurance market. They have Korean Re, one major reinsurer. China Re, second largest economy, soon maybe the largest economy in the world, you have China Re. In the Middle East, we have so many reinsurers operating in very small markets. China Re is ranked among the top 10 today. GIC of India is ranked among the top 10 because their local market is very big. We are operating in very small markets with multitude of players. And no one is thinking and considering that they need to merge, they need to improve their situation, okay? The reason why international reinsurers are merging, okay, is because they want to improve their returns, they want to improve the service to their clients, because they have competition from the capital markets. In the Middle East, in Africa, we're not even considering mergers. We're not even considering that we need to improve the capabilities to offer a better service. And definitely, and the most important in reinsurance is capitalization. You know, we have international players that have multi-billion dollars of capitals, and we're operating in the region with a $50 million or $100 million of capital. This is definitely, for the long term, not good for the region, because definitely the region needs regional reinsurers, and we need the regional reinsurers because the day we have a hard market, no one will look at us. No one will consider that there are local needs that needs to be supported and fulfilled. So we need the regional reinsurers, but we need them stronger and much bigger.
So to follow what you said, what will take the balance? For example, the markets will continue to be small. I mean, as you know, the average penetration rate through the fair land, let's say between 1.2, excluding the very developed Korea, Taiwan, Japan, etc. So our markets will probably remain small in comparison the next 5-10 years, although there is a growth, but not to that level. What will tip the balance? How can we make it more attractive? Well, tell me, what will drive this M&A activities reinsurance-wise? Will the shareholders wake up one day and say, listen, we need to shake up the base of this company? Will the business model fail, for example? What do you think will take to tip that?
No, definitely. You have on one hand the investors, okay, that should be looking for returns. They should be looking for returns that are higher than cost of capital, and you have also the regulators, okay, that should encourage mergers. And when I say mergers, I'm talking cross-country. I'm talking creating pan-Arab, pan-African reinsurers that have the size to be able to compete regionally and internationally. This is definitely needed and required. One of the issues we have in our market, and this I'm talking specifically Middle East, okay, is the fact that the growth in the insurance market is coming from compulsory lines of business. And compulsory lines of business are standard products. That means there is no differentiation. That means the only competition is on price. Now, the standard products are motor, the standard products is medical, okay? And these lines of business, the more you have a large portfolio, the less need for reinsurers. So also this is affecting detrimentally the reinsurance markets.
Thank you. Let's move on, Vasilis. AM Best has recently, let's say over a year, upgraded the general outlook of the reinsurance worldwide industry from negative. My question to you, listening to what we have said on the fair region, and this is really the focus of this conference, does one really conclude that the outlook is anything but negative? You hear what Madame Lamia has said and what Farid has said.
Actually, I could make my answer very quick. We still have a negative outlook. So the point is, and I know that we debated it a lot, because there are both positives and negatives in this market on a global scale. So the question was, is this one working?
Yeah, can we have the microphone number 5, please?
Hello?
Yeah.
We have both positives and negatives, and up until some point we might have been thinking of putting a stable outlook, especially after we had the big catastrophes last year. We thought, and like most of the market, everybody was expecting that rates were going to go up. And then we go towards the end of the year and we see that, especially in the US, where we had a big renewal season, markets and segments which were not hit, they absolutely refused to accept a rate increase. And when you look overall, the rate increases were very marginal. The other thing was that many were expecting that alternative capital will not come back. And guess what? Not only did it come back,
Reloaded.
but they reloaded and more than it was before. So when you put these things on a global perspective, what you see is you see a market which for years now is complaining about the level of rate premiums, and actually you can see that they are right, because we talked about the return on equity being around 8 or 9, but that is including reserve releases. Take out the reserve releases, the average return on equity is below 5, it's about 4 point something. For a business that's high risk, that does not cover your cost of capital, I would say. So it is this new normal, as we call it, is a situation which cannot be sustained very long term, I think. And that's why we still have a negative outlook on the market.
But it's a double whammy, because with the state of interest rates, the cost of capital reduced, so the hurdle rate becomes much harder to achieve. So how do you get out of this conundrum? On one hand, Farid said, rightly I say, the investors will wake up one day, hey, we need something more than this. But what can you offer if the margins are so slim, if the reserves have been really depleted all over the year?
I think there are, and I'm not actually telling anything here, I think the majority of the large reinsurers are driving down that track. Number one is M&A activity. We see M&A activity both in terms of trying to take out capacity, of expanding the offering through different strengthening in certain segments and markets, but we're also seeing activity of acquisitions from traditional reinsurers into the alternative capital, the acquisition that we've seen from Markel recently. I think that could be quite transformational. Suddenly Markel controls 20% of the alternative capital offered in the reinsurance space. And that is capital that is lower cost. So it could be something that we can see from other reinsurers as a way of reducing the cost of capital. It could be done through acquisitions like in Markel, or through setting up their own solutions as Hannover Re has been doing for years. So that M&A is making much more sense now than it did a few years back. The other thing is new technologies, InsurTech. We have seen, if you look at the high level, I think that's an interesting point where numbers actually seem to say the same story, but when you go deeper, the story is very different. If you see at the total expenses ratio for global reinsurers, it's about 35-36. If you look at regional reinsurers, it's similar, it's not way out. But the difference is that many of the global reinsurers are spending on InsurTech technologies, which will put them in a different level and will make dealing with, for their clients, will make dealing with them easier and for them cheaper. Regional reinsurers do not have that. So although we see the same expense ratio, we see that probably the top 10, 20 reinsurers are getting into the next level of competency and will bring their expense ratio down. So I think these are the two critical strategies, if you wish, that are going to change the market longer term.
Yeah. Thank you. Moving on to Akim over here. You sit in a nice country, South Africa, which to many geographically it's Africa, but the insurance, the development is really European. Okay. Do you reminisce with much which has been said by Madame Lamia and the colleagues in terms of the hurdles? Is it for us the most developed market within Africa, South Africa, for example? Do you see similar challenges, just so that we can learn from what an African country has gone through? What is there that we can impart to struggling, developing markets like ours in the fair land?
So you're absolutely right that the South African market is very, very vibrant, similar to the market as I've seen it here in the last few days. In fact, as Hanover globally, we look at South Africa as almost an innovation hub for the world. So there's a lot of activity, and we constantly try new things. Yes, we do traditional reinsurance, and we've been doing that for many years, but we are very actively involved, what my fellow panel speaker just said, in the insurtech space, and that provides new opportunities to us. If you look at the combined ratio of the South African market, 2017 was a horrendous year. I think most of our competitors have got gross combined ratios of 120%. Ours is significantly better, but it's not great.
Yes.
So the competition is there. In addition, we've got the challenge that South Africa is seen as a very attractive market for diversification by international players. And it's often referred to as the suitcase brigade coming into South Africa. So it is one of the most competitive markets for reinsurance, and you need to be very professional. And again, the other factor that was mentioned before, managing your expenses is absolutely key. If you don't manage your expenses, you cannot provide value to your customers.
And most customers, you feel, heed to the cause. I'm just intrigued to learn, are they more sophisticated in the sense they are ready to accept the changes, the products beyond the traditional? What is your revelation after a couple of years there?
I think the market is very mixed. So you've got very innovative players that embrace technology, that push the envelope all the time, and you've got very traditional players, and it's often fascinating to see how those can actually coexist.
Yeah, but it is not segmental. For example, the SME is more attractive than the government sector, or the it's a mix.
Yeah, the government sector is a problem. Yeah. So you don't really want to get involved in that too much. The SME sector was highly profitable for many years. So profitable that everyone wanted to get into it, and we all know what the effect of that then is. So it's also very competitive now. So we like to focus on niche areas, specialty areas.
All right. I want to move on the discussions. I have more questions, but I just wanted to, at this stage, as I came to talk a little bit about this insurtech experience for Hanover Re out of South Africa. As he said, it has played as a model, testing a ground to see what it is, and hopefully there is food for thought to what they have gained out of this experience to share with us. So please, by all means, and then we'll pick up more questions.
So thank you very much for this opportunity. It's my first time to this beautiful city. I've already learned three very important things. The first one is that you've got a very vibrant insurance market with very innovative thinking. So I hope I can actually add some new ideas to that. The second thing is that the market seems to have an almost unlimited capacity. That is for very delicious food. And the third one is you seem to need very little sleep here. So I will present a little bit on insurtech and our early experiences in South Africa. I need to emphasize that it's early because, I mean, this scene has been going for 3 or 4 years. So whether it will be successful and how successful it will be, we still need to await, but we do see large opportunities in this. So the number one influencer, and that seems to be the new word for guru in the insurtech scene, by the name of Matteo Carbone, has written a book, and the book is titled All the Insurance Players Will Be Insurtech. And that is really the million-dollar question. Will we be all fully digitalized, or will we not? Will there be roles for traditional insurance models as we know it? So is this true or false? I think the natural tendency that we would all have is to say, no, this cannot be true. But if we think of how technology is changing the world, it is quite amazing, and in the insurance industry, we have not really seen that. If you think of Amazon, the most valuable retailer in the world, just hitting a market cap of 1 trillion, only the second company to ever achieve that, they've got no inventory. Uber, the largest taxi company, and I see that one can make use of Uber here as well, they don't own one single vehicle. And Airbnb is the largest accommodation provider. I'm sure they don't have nice rooms like this one in this beautiful hotel, but they don't own one single bed. And this is how other industries have been disrupted. And do we really know what is coming for the insurance industry? I don't think so. If I look around in the audience, there's quite a few of us who are past the 50 and who probably can still remember turning 50, but there's also quite a few that are below that age. So why do I put up the slide? Well, it's the start of my story, and the story is that in 2015, we as a company knew that in 2016, we would be turning 50. Now, 50 for most companies is quite an achievement, but as Hannovery, we always still feel like the new kids on the block. And it has to do with that with our larger competitors, they're over 100 years. But 50 years, in fact, is quite an achievement. We met in this lovely town of Würzburg that you see on this photo, and our discussions largely emanated around, well, we really feel like a startup, but what would it be like if we started all over again? What would we do? Our CEO, Ulrich Wallin, put us on our toes and said, well, I can't give you a mandate to do a new startup in reinsurance, because all you would do is you've all been brainwashed by Hannovery, you would just start a mini Hannovery, so that's boring. That is not going to disrupt the industry. But maybe we need to test how you can actually break the reinsurance industry. So he mandated us to run with a global innovation competition that we did name Journey Re, and in 4 hubs of the world, and those were hubs that we considered to be innovation hubs. So we went to Dublin, we went to Berlin, we went to Boston, and we went to Johannesburg. We started an innovation competition where we recruited young people that have largely been untainted by the insurance industry. And we asked them, we put them into groups, and we asked them, come up with models that can break the reinsurance industry or the reinsurance business model. We did put re in brackets, and I think that was a very clever move, because what the people came back with is that it's actually very difficult to break the reinsurance model, because reinsurance has got 2 fundamental things. One is big capital, which is not that easy to find, and the second one is a relatively low expense ratio. And if you look at business models that get disrupted, they're very often characterized by high expense ratios that you can cut down with technology. So these youngsters did not come back with a convincing model of how to break reinsurance, but they did come up with quite some interesting insurance business models. And so what this innovation competition has done, it has connected us with an insurtech scene and has created our interest in the insurtech scene. And we have since launched and gotten involved with some insurtech businesses, and I'll share some experiences of that. In South Africa, we're very fortunate because we do have a company by the name of Lirias that has just celebrated its 30th anniversary. And the purpose of that company is it's an investment company to invest in insurance startup companies. So we've done this for 30 years. We've done over 40 investments. 90% of those investments have been successful. So we've had very few failures. We have typically invested in specialty insurance companies or in underwriting agencies. I think that's a feature that is not that common in your market, but we have created that business model in South Africa, and it has been very successful. And we do look at insurtech in a similar way as we look at underwriting agencies. One side effect of the whole project was that there's a lot of talk about millennials in the workplace and how difficult they are to manage. We've learned something about that, and I can tell you they're not as bad as their reputation. So this slide is very busy, and I'm not going to spend much time on it, but it reflects the insurtech scene as it has emerged in South Africa over the last few years. And what you see here is some different types of products, and you see investors into insurtech scene, you see product providers, and data intelligence companies. We have gotten involved with some of them, and I'm going to go into 3 of them in a little bit more detail, and that the only reason why I do those 3 is because they are very different, each one of them, and those are the ones that I know best. So the first one is by the name of Investure. And Investure started by a young man in his mid to late 20s coming to me and say he's got a product idea, and can we not set him up to start this as a business? And he said, no, I want to insure investors that have invested in equities and then the management commits fraud and the share price drops. And my first initial immediate reaction was, no, this is not an insurable risk. And I wanted to send him home. Luckily, my coffee wasn't finished, so we continued the conversation a little bit. And then I thought, well, maybe there's something in this. We actually ended up setting him up for 6 months, partnering him with someone else. So the guy himself is a chartered accountant. We partnered him with an actuary and with an IT person. And they have actually developed something that is, according to our knowledge, a world-first product. So they protect innocent shareholders against losses in share price caused by actual or alleged deception committed by management. I don't know to what degree you are familiar with a company called Steinhoff. Steinhoff is a company, a furniture retailer that started in South Africa but then went global and is actually the second largest furniture retailer in Europe now, only behind IKEA. There have been some rumors about the company for some time, but the share price has performed tremendously. The company has done acquisitions all over the world, including the US. And what happened towards the end of last year, beginning of this year, there were stories coming out on accounting fraud in that company. The share price dropped by over 90%. Over 90%. At the moment, it very much looks like there was actual fraud, and it will be proven, but we all know that those kind of processes take years and years and years and years. For an investor, if I'm invested in a company, it doesn't help me to buy an insurance product that would compensate me after 5 years. I want my investment portfolio to be managed immediately. So that is why the product is triggered already when there is an alleged fraud by management and the share price drops. So what we have done is we have introduced this product in the South African market. We have partnered with an online trading platform where a lot of first-time investors buy shares and they can buy the insurance product by just ticking another box. The first time they do that, they get a full explanation of the product. We are extremely transparent, but once they've bought once, they can continue buying this. So we do require a 10% loss because we do not want to cover normal market volatility, and we need mainstream news about alleged fraud, and then the policy holder actually gets a message, there is an insurable event, you can sell your equity and claim from us. If they then sell, we automatically pay. So I don't know about you, whether you've heard about such a product anywhere else in the world. We haven't. We've done quite a bit of research. I needed to get lots of approvals to actually do that. And we've been running for a few months now, and we've already got over 1,000 sales on this platform, and this is just one platform. This is more or less to test the concept. If this concept works, we want to roll it out to other platforms in South Africa, but then we also want to look at other markets. So the theme is reinsurance opportunities beyond traditional insurance. And there was quite a bit of almost doom and gloom here coming through. I'm very excited about something like this as a new opportunity. The second insurtech that we are involved with is completely different. So this is a tech insurance solution for what we call the digital natives. I think if I look around here, there's not much of that generation around here, but I think we can all see it in our children or grandchildren, that they are completely digital. I mean, you can never see them without at least one screen. Sometimes they've got more than one screen. But they also don't buy insurance, and they will definitely not buy insurance in the traditional way. So we've got to find different ways. So Pineapple has a number of very unique features. It is an app that you download, and if you downloaded it, it takes cognizance of what your cell phone is with a serial number and that kind of thing, and it makes you an offer to insure your cell phone automatically. For other items, you can take a photo of the item. Artificial intelligence identifies what kind of item that is. You determine the value for what you want to insure it for, and you click and you're covered. That is, so the onboarding process is extremely slick. That is one of the unique features. The second one is it offers a Facebook-like networking capability. So you can connect with your friends, typically that you think are good risks, and those will be your risk network. Pineapple itself will take a fixed fee, and the risk carriers will take a fee. Whatever is left over gets returned to the policyholder at the end of the year. So the concept works on the basis of a wallet, and you can see your wallet on the app every single day, and this is what you can expect to get back at the end of the period. So what drives this business model? Well, in the insurance industry, we've got three major factors. We've got expenses and profit. We do pay fraudulent claims. I think you would all agree we pay fraudulent claims in insurance, and then we pay genuine claims. This model is designed to bring down the expenses and to bring down the fraud element, because if you vouch for your friends, you're less likely to take money out of the wallet of your friends than you would be keen to take out of this anonymous insurance company. So those are the unique features of Pineapple in a very short summary. The marketing is only through a digital presence on social media. And it's quite amazing, even before they launched, before they sold the first product, before you could download the app, they had managed to already have over 20,000 followers on Instagram, which is the #1 media in their target market. That's before they launched. Now they're up to roughly 40,000 followers on Instagram, and that is more than the entire South African insurance industry has got combined. And that's in 3 months since they launched. They are present on the other social media as well, and they've got about 420,000 followers that look at what they post every single week. And you can imagine, I mean, if that is your acquisition, which is largely for free, your acquisition costs are so much lower than traditional insurance models. Okay, and let me come to the last one. This goes by the name of Lumkani. Lumkani protects against fires in informal settlements. So informal settlements are a reality for over 1 billion people on Earth. In South Africa alone, they have displaced 250,000 South Africans in the last decade and has killed quite a few of them. And every year in South Africa, we see these fires that go through townships, and depending on how the wind goes, it just goes through them and leaves nothing left. And very often people are killed in the process. So what Lumkani has done is they've developed a low-cost heat detection device. It doesn't discover smoke, it discovers rapid change of temperature. And what it then does, it sends out an alarm, and hopefully if you are in that informal dwelling, you get the warning in time and you can escape the dwelling. But what is even more important, it sends out signals to the other heat detection devices in the area and gives an early warning to the people surrounding this one place where this fire starts. So through that, the community should get warned and should be able to vacate and maybe even put the fire to a stop earlier than it would normally do. The distribution is a mixture of a traditional and a modern model. So it is largely on digital applications, but also on agents that live and work in these informal settlements. So in addition, it has created new jobs. Ultimately, insurance is about our ability to pay claims. So Investure has already had a claim. One equity went down and triggered. And the person sold his investment. And I think we can claim a world record because I have not heard about an insurance claim that was paid in 45 seconds. I think Lemonade in the US is advertising that they paid a claim in a few minutes. The new benchmark is 45 seconds. Pineapple has also paid their first claims, and they've managed to allocate the claims cost according to the risk network that the individuals that were in that had assigned to themselves. That claim was a bit slow. It was paid in 1.5 hours. And Lumkani has also already paid claims. They only pay within 5 days, but that allows the people to rebuild their informal dwelling, because there's this fire policy attached to that. And what is even more important, we have actually saved lives through this device. So coming back to the questions, are insurtechs friends or foes of the insurance or the reinsurance industry? Well, it largely depends on whether you're a player or not. One of the important features of the insurtechs, as I have observed them, is none of them are insurance companies, and none of them want to be insurance companies. And that's a great opportunity, I think, for all of us, because that means they need to partner. And they need to partner with an insurance company, and that provides a huge business opportunity for the insurance companies. What typically happens, the ideas come from people that don't come from the insurance industry. They've identified a problem. Our role is to help them fit that into the insurance regulation and into the framework. And we have spent a lot of time finding business models for them that fit within an existing regulatory framework, but also we've spent a lot of time with the regulator sitting and explaining what we're doing so that we create comfort with the regulator about these new things. Because, I mean, if I'm a regulator, I would also have a natural tendency to be skeptical about these things. But if a solid insurer, reinsurer is involved, it gives the regulator a lot more comfort to do these kind of things. And the last thing that I want to stress is we are so used to innovation and technology that dominates us, that dominate the way we do things, comes from the US. I mean, all our cell phones are either developed in the US or in the Far East. The beauty here is that these solutions were developed in South Africa, for South Africa, but also to be exported into other jurisdictions. So if you can find those talented young people with good ideas and challenge them to find ideas, you don't need to wait until an Amazon, for example, tries to bulldoze the insurance industry. And I think that's a real threat that we need to address. So my answer to the question of friends or foes is this. Thank you very much.
Please, hello. Yeah, thank you, Akeem, for this most interesting expose of 3 solid examples of how Hanover Re South Africa have found InsurTech in this incubator environment. Just my thoughts, questions to you, not on the particulars. When do you know this is a success and this should now be launched and offloaded? And do you foresee any trigger marks like return on investment, return on technology, return on human capital? What is it that you'll say, fine, this is workable?
That's a very good question, because in this process, I'm a very traditional reinsurer, so I look at combined ratios and things like that. If you enter that space, you're suddenly talking about completely other measures. So one of the most important measures in this InsurTech scene, what is your burn rate? And I didn't know what a burn rate is. So basically, how much money have you got that you can burn through to build your business? And typically, the way these InsurTechs are set up is with venture capital funds that provide money for the next 12 to 18 months. And when that money is used up, then the business has either made the expected progress or not, and then you go to the next funding round. So it's a series of funding rounds in this InsurTech space. Those are all at the early stage still.
And are there early warning signals? For example, instead of blowing up that 100,000, when you reach 10 and say this is not doable, do you replenish it? I mean, or is it just limited in duration as well, not just in amount?
Well, I must say the guys that we've interacted with have learned one thing from Hanover, and that is to be cautious with how they spend the money. Sure. So far they all operate within budget and according to business plan. We are at the moment talking the second round of investment, and we are talking to venture capital funds, and there is already 2 venture capital funds that have put up a term sheet to invest in those.
Thank you very much. I mean, this is one point leads me to another. Unfortunately, the Afro-Asian markets are not too strong on venture capital. There is a lot of liquidity. There is money to be there. But unfortunately, the venture capitalists are not going into insurance. Well, not until now. So that will be a strive to try to convince them that a new reform business model would work. This is very important for our industry here as a FAIR, Federation of Afro-Asian Insurance and Reinsurance. Do you believe that the success or an ingredient of success for the InsurTech products similar to what you have presented underline the demarcation between insurance and reinsurance? Whilst we need one for the other, but it seems that is the drive. Take the bull by its horn. Do you think this is an absolute must? Because this is one of the constraints that we have over here.
Yes, so our approach to insurtech in South Africa is slightly different because for historic reasons we do own an insurance company there, so we can use that license. On a global basis, our approach is to find the right partners in every market. So yes, we want to push insurtech, but at the same time we don't want to go into competition with our clients. So therefore, I mean, these concepts here, if they work in South Africa, we will be looking to partner with people in other markets, which won't necessarily require investment from those companies.
Sure. But I mean, you're taking the role, you're packaging it, you're putting it together, you're effectively, just to use the term reinsurance, using their paper. You are using their distribution network, okay, as a vehicle to push these products.
Yes and no. So typically how we enter into these type of partnerships, we want the partner to bring something to the table that we cannot. Often that is around claims handling. I mean, for example, Pineapple will go into motor insurance as a next step. Motor insurance is very difficult in South Africa, at least from a claims handling point of view. So we will need to have a good partner that can offer that. And then we have an arrangement whereby we enter it as a 50-50 partnership, and reinsurance is used as a vehicle to facilitate that partnership. So we start out on the condition you write the business through this insurtech business, but there's a 50% quota share cession to Hanover Re.
Thank you very much. Switching now to Arabic, Madam Lamia, ما رأيك بما قيل في هي حقل التجارب زين في استخدام التكنولوجيا في أمثلة حية؟ يعني هل تظني اليوم سيقبل أن احنا كشركات عاملين في هالقطاع ممكن نستغل ونقدم منتجات إلى زبايننا عن طريق شركات التأمين؟
من ضمن التحديات التي أشرت إليها في المداخلة هو التحول الرقمي والتطور التكنولوجي وتأثيره على سلوكيات الحريف بصنفيه كحريف لشركة تأمين كمؤمن له وكحريف لشركة الإعادة كشركة تأمين. وهذا من المفروض أن يؤثر على نموذج الأعمال بزنس موديل لشركات إعادة تأمين. لذلك هي مسألة حتمية، يعني لابد لشركات إعادة تأمين أن تستثمر في ليزينشرتك الشركات الناشئة التي بقدر ما تحدث اضطراب على الموديل ديزافير، يعني منظومة الأعمال التقليدية، بقدر ما تفتح مجالات للتخفيض في الكلفة وتحسين المردودية المالية. ونلاحظ احنا ان على مستوى العالم المتقدم تكثفت الاستثمارات في مجال الانشورتك، يعني كبريات شركات الإعادة وشركات التأمين في العالم تستثمر مبالغ هامة وكبيرة في الستارت اب، لأنها تعي جيدا أن الاستثمار في هذه الآليات الجديدة سيساهم في التخفيض من الكلفة وتحسين المردودية. الأمثلة التي قدمها مستر حكيم هي أمثلة تبين بوضوح المردود، يعني من ناحية الوقاية، من ناحية على كامل سلسلة الإنتاج، يعني من ناحية بداية من اكتتاب من الاكتتاب، الإنتاج، التسويق، التعويض، إلى نهاية لاشين دو فالور، يعني سلسلة الإنتاج. لذلك لابد المسألة لم تعد مسألة اختيار، هي مسألة حياتية وحتمية. العالم من حولنا يتغير، جذريا. هناك جيل رقمي جديد كما تفضل الجيل الصاعد يستعمل كل الوسائل الرقمية، يحتاج إلى شركات تأمين تلبي حاجياته في أي وقت وفي أي مكان وحسب خصوصيات مطلبه. لذلك يبدو لي أن الاستثمار في هذا المجال يبقى أمرا ضروريا ولا مفر منه، ونحن كشركات إعادة إقليمية وجهوية لابد لنا أن ننطلق في هذا الاتجاه.
شكرا. Farid, you're an informed broker, and I think question relating what Akim has mentioned in his presentation. Do you think the day will come that we see an example similar to Lemonade Insurance, which is, as you know, a P&C provider in the States, which has been successful? What does it need to replicate a Lemonade model? Interestingly, they have pineapple, but whatever you want to call it over here. What does it take, and why haven't we seen one example of a successful Arab, African, Asian, Afro-Asian doing something similar to the industry, which is quite in need?
Thank you, Yasser. Definitely, there are investments in the region, okay, and there are investments in the region for InsurTech. We haven't heard of them because it's not the insurance industry that is investing in it, and this is what is worrying. It is worrying because it's people from outside the industry.
So why are they ambivalent?
That are investing in insurance technology, and there are some very big successes already. One of the, I think, technology is here to either respond to a demand or to create a demand. And one of the most difficult aspects that we have in our business, okay, is the process that we have, the process to underwrite a policy, the process to handle a claim. And the focus so far in the region has been on this. There are investments on the distribution as well that are being done in the region to invest in InsurTech to distribute retail, mass retail products. So definitely this is a challenge. This is a challenge for the broker. This is a challenge for the insurance companies as well. Now, who is investing? You have some venture capitalists and business angels that are investing. Are they going to replace us? So far not, because they need a license. So if they want to sell an insurance product, they need to go through an insurance company, but they have the technology to do that. If they want to distribute, they need a broker license to distribute.
But what if they go all the way and like?
However, if they go and if they scale and they have the size, they could definitely themselves ask for licenses and get the regulatory approvals.
But these disruptors can take a very sort of swift approach, and you've all heard about a year and a half ago the intentions of Google to start diversifying into our bread and butter. So it's going to happen one day. If it's not Google, it's something else or another provider. What do? We just sit on the side?
We cannot. We definitely cannot sit on the side. We need, as an industry, we need to invest in insurance technology to be able to protect what we have. One of the aspects that is very important. Okay, if you look at a platform like Amazon wants to sell insurance products. They will sell insurance products, obviously, in countries and in markets where they will be allowed to sell. But one day, once they have done their expansion in the US, in Europe, they will come here and find licenses to use because there are a lot of companies that are willing to front. There are a lot of companies today that are willing to rent their licenses. So the disruption coming from technology companies is definitely coming, and we need to be ready for it.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Vasilis, as representing an active rating agencies within the Afro-Asian market over here, does AM Best, for example, assign, not call it an execution risk with an insurance company that is embarking heavily, let's say, on insurtech like products, or does it give it brownie points vis-a-vis a stable run-of-the-mill company who has a stable revenue stream? Is this a positive factor, or is it perceived as a negative factor?
Okay, it's a very hypothetical question.
I'm sure it
because
is.
we haven't seen it in this part of the world.
Yeah, one day you will, my dear.
One day,
Yeah.
inshallah.
Inshallah.
I think that when it happens, it's positive points. Of course, if it is a company, if we were looking at a company like Pineapple, if Pineapple was an insurance company, where 100% of its income depends on a new technology, that has a lot of risk.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where it becomes negative. But if we are talking about an existing insurer which is investing into new technology, trying to make either its products or more relevant, or its distribution better, or its ability to get closer to the client easier, all of these things are positive developments. Problem is that we are unfortunately living in a market where it is very difficult to innovate. So, Akim mentioned earlier, one of the key things that they're doing is they're talking to the regulator. I do not want to imagine what would the reaction of the regulators be if you came with one of these ideas. I mean, we have a dichotomy here where the regulators are talking about being in favor of innovation, being in favor of new technology because someone above them told them this is what you should do. But I don't think they have the ability to evaluate these things and say, yes, go ahead, or no, don't go. And that's the regulator. Insurance companies, I mean, we talked about motor and medical being the commodities. How many companies have we seen developing something different on this segment?
Go with that, yeah.
Yeah, so for these reasons, I'm a little bit skeptical if we are likely to see things happening very soon. I hope, because there is capital in the market, it's just not finding itself in the insurance sector, that some of that capital will find itself into a technology company that will be offering something very useful for the insurance market.
Understood.
So that's an interesting aspect that you mentioned. So Pineapple is a broker because that fitted their business model the best. Investure, for example, is a technology company
platform
that sits behind the insurance company. So when I say we talk to the regulator, we keep them informed, we put a lot of emphasis that this is putting the consumer into a better position, because that's ultimately what the regulator is after. We didn't really ask for permission to do this. I mean, it's clear that in the South African market, when Hanover is involved, backing an A-rated insurance company there, that there's not a question of claims paying ability. And if then, in addition, the consumer is better off than before, then the regulator doesn't have too many legs to stand on to say no to this.
Yeah, indeed.
Sorry, can I?
Sure.
The other aspect related to technology is before getting into these products, technology can be useful also to improve the processes, to make the distribution, underwriting claims, all of that efficient.
Efficiency.
Okay, and this is a real threat for the local industry. Okay, because international companies that have invested in technology and have a process that is cost efficient and effective will definitely operate with expense ratios that are lower than other companies. And this is, today, this is the immediate threat for the industry.
All right. Question, Akim. I'm glad you raised this point in passing, but it was one of the things that I had in my mind. You mentioned the sort of flavor of the last year, MGAs, which is a very active market sector in South Africa and definitely in other developed markets. Do you think the day will come that the role of insurance, at least investors in insurance companies, will transform, say, why put capital? We have an MGA, okay?
Yeah. Look,
Let's go. Let's transform our role.
Yeah.
Let's transform our role, instead of being provider of a capacity or capital into an insurance company. Low risk MGA, pick your underwriter, do your stuff, get him an incentive, and get on with it. By the same corollary, the day, I'm interested also on your answer for reinsurers, to change their role, just like an investment, to become like fund of funds. Effectively, we lend the capital, and our role there would be just to sit on these pools, portfolios, okay, and just manage our portfolio instead of putting the capital.
Yes, so I mean, I'm a big supporter of that concept of MGAs if it is managed well. If it is not managed well, it can go horribly wrong, and there are some very ugly experiences that people have made. But in South Africa, we get 60% of our premium income as a reinsurer from activities from MGAs.
Very active.
Another interesting question in that context is, are insurance companies themselves becoming a little bit like that? Because there are some developments in the world whereby large insurance companies have started to buy huge quota shares. Now, for years, the trend has been to reduce proportional, to go non-proportional, to increase retentions. So, but if you look at Australia, the big players in Australia are buying huge quota shares, whole account quota shares now, because they've worked out that their investors prefer a fee income over a risk income.
Yes.
And they get a much higher multiple on the portion that they actually cede off to reinsurers than where they retain. It's a fairly new development, but it's very interesting to observe that. And there, obviously, reinsurers end up being the ultimate capacity providers, and we've got the benefit of diversification on a global basis. So that comes close to an MGA model almost. In reinsurance, I like the concept of a reinsurance UMA. I've had a few business plans in my own mind to start something like that. But reinsurers are extremely reluctant to give their pen away.
Yes. But you know, it's a one has to go with the times, and this is where the industry, one wouldn't have anticipated how the ILS market, the insurance-linked securities, have developed to a point, and Vasilis has said, reloaded their huge capital after the losses of the hurricanes in the States last year. So it is this type of capital involvement and is making a rethink in what is really the role of the reinsurers. In the past, the regional reinsurers have had a passive role. If they are not going to live up to the challenge and assume a more active role, then as an investor, I would say, well, what is it in it for us? Let's.
I mean, on the one hand, yes, the capital markets are competing with the traditional reinsurers, but I also think that we do need the capital markets, and especially, I mean, if you look at the cyber risk market, that is growing, but there is a lot of discomfort with what is really the exposure, what are we really covering, what is the accumulation risk, and I think fairly soon we will be seeing transfers of some portions of that risk into the capital market.
Sure.
Because, I mean, one of our competitors said we need government support. I'm not sure whether we need government support if we can involve the capital market in covering that type of risk.
Sure. That was my second point. But the capital markets will only be interested in fair markets if we are able to model the risks, because they don't care what is the underlying basis risk. What they are interested in is to what degree these are modelable, and henceforth they are able to attract a price for. I want to move on to, again, I mean, we talked first on the insurance market, Afro-Asia, a little bit in InsurTech, just picking up a third dimension for our discussion, and don't worry, we have time, which is the insurance gap. And this is a subject very dear to governments, as Akeem says, because government play a very predominant role in the fair land. A lot of reinsurers are owned by government or semi-government organizations. Governments play a dominant role in the economies of many of the countries we live in. I'll begin with you, Madam Lamia. Okay, I'll do a little bit of Arabic, but I think you know English. ما هو برأيك دور الحكومات في تقليص البروتكشن جاب الموجودة من ناحية تعظيم الدور وسد الثغرة الموجودة؟ هل تظني أن الحكومات ستظل في تواصلها وتفاعلها، ولا حيجي اليوم اللي يقول لا والله do your own insurance وخلاص؟ يعني وجدنا أمثلة كان في تدخل للحكومات إنزين في تغطية مخاطر، مثل اللي صار بعد أحداث الربيع، مثل ما صار في الكتاسر بول في دولة مثل الجزائر، مثل ما صار في دول ثانية خلينا نقول أفرو آسيوية، نفس الشيء في إندونيسيا موجود. Do you think الحكومة يوم من الأيام بتقول لا؟
فعلا هو التوجه حاليا أنه نحو تحويل المخاطر من القطاع العام نحو القطاع الخاص، خاصة في مجال المخاطر الكبرى. يعني مثل مخاطر الكوارث الطبيعية أو الكوارث بصفة بمفهومها شامل، كوارث إنسانية أو كوارث طبيعية مثل مخاطر العنف السياسي. التوجه حاليا هو شراكة بين القطاع العام والقطاع الخاص، لأن بعض المخاطر مثل لها طبيعة ربما غير قابلة للتأمين الخاص كليا، مثل بعض الجوائح أو أين يكون تدخل الحكومات في النهاية مطلوب. لذلك فإن الشراكة بين القطاع العام والقطاع الخاص هي حاليا التوجه من خلال تخلي تدريجي للحكومات عن هذه. تبقى ربما خاصية كما أشرت في أسواقنا الأفرو آسيوية، أين يكون التدخل الحكومي ربما أعمق وأشد في مسائل عادية تقليدية ربما لا تحتاج إلى تدخل مباشر من الحكومات. وفي نهاية الأمر أنا أرى أن الحكومات لها دور من خلال سلطة الإشراف على قطاع les autorités de régulation التي تظل مهمة جدا لدفع ومعاضدة النمو في هذه القطاعات، مثل مسألة إيجاد تعاون بين معيدي التأمين وشركات التأمين وسلطة الإشراف على القطاع لدفع منظومة ليزينشورتك. مثلا هنا الدور الحكومي ودور السلطات مطلوب جدا من ناحية. من ناحية أخرى، من ناحية التصرف في المخاطر، هناك مجالات حسب رأيي يبقى التدخل الحكومي في شكل شراكة مطلوب بالنظر لجسامة نوعية معينة من المخاطر. والأمثلة عديدة، مثلا في بعض البلدان لابد في النهاية من غطاء بعد استنفاذ الغطاء على مستوى السوق الخاص، لابد من تدخل الحكومات في بعض الكوارث الكبرى.
شكرا. أستاذ فريد، ما نظرتك في البروتكشن جاب؟ يعني هل الدور الحكومي محوري في سوري
أكيد. So I'll do it in English. Depending on the country, depending on the region, there are different involvement from the government. It's very difficult to assess, to say whether it's successful or not. You have government involved through direct ownership of reinsurance companies. You have government involved through the management or forcing the creation of a local pool for catastrophe perils. You also have it through regulation and through compulsory lines of business. I think the government involvement in our region is very important because it's because of the limited purchase of insurance by individuals and by consumers. Personal lines. And without government involvement, I think the impact on the economy would be detrimental. It's the fact that they are pushing and putting compulsory lines of business that is pushing individuals to purchase insurance that gives them the protection needed. If you look at the Gulf region specifically, okay, the push was from taking away the health expenses to make it health insurance, private health insurance. And if you look at three countries, or I would say two countries, they have different, they handled it and they tackled it completely differently. If you look at the United Arab Emirates, they handled it differently from Saudi Arabia. Qatar had a trial 2 years ago or 3 years ago by setting up a medical insurance company. It's difficult today to say whether it's successful or its failure, but definitely the government involvement is very important. The reinsurance involvement and the government-owned reinsurance company role in their local market is also very important, because at least you have individuals and persons that have the mindset of a private company involved in the business and giving a government support and government function, which is, I think, very important.
Yeah. Okay, let me move on another dimension. Vasilis, many say that the events of the last couple of years have vividly demonstrated the flattening of the so-called insurance cycle, insurance/reinsurance cycle. Are you a subscriber to this?
I'm trying to.
And do you believe in the cycle?
I'm trying to find where the cycle is.
Yeah.
I think, you know, as a company, AM Best, we've been talking the last few years about the new normal, which is talking about much flatter cycles. And, you know, I am a subscriber until I'm proven wrong. You know, I'm very cautious of making too far reaching focus, because, you know, they tend to end up wrong. But my feeling is that we've seen several years where the rates have been depressed, and yet when you look at the global level, reinsurers have been retaining a combined ratio between 90 and 95% in the last 5 years, excluding the catastrophes, which is not bad. So when I looked at this statistic, my question was, I hear the point about the rates, but then the combined ratio is very nice, thank you very much.
Yes.
So what's missing here? Is it probably that the model is not valid anymore? Is it probably that we should get used to living with the market, with the rates as they are, actually expect them to continue declining. Another interesting point is it's not just in Australia where companies are moving into what I would call Middle East practices. For years we're talking to the market that, you know, you're not managing your risk properly. And what we see is markets like Australia moving to big quota shares. Well, we have several companies that can go and teach them how to do it. We've seen for the last 5 years an increase in cession rates. So all these point to, at least for the foreseeable future, a market that's unlikely to turn around. Having said that, what would be the market if we had 3 years like last year? I don't know. Probably we would see some hardening in the rates. Probably we would see hardening in rates in markets where we don't expect it, like the Middle East. So you could have big losses in the Caribbean, and that's where the capital goes, because that's where the better return is. So maybe you don't find as much capacity as you used to. So yeah, I am subscribing to the idea of the breaking of the cycle for now. But I do think there will be conditions that will bring it back. Yeah?
And back soon, you believe?
I hope for the sanity of the industry, yes.
Okay, all right. Okay. Akeem, I can't pass this session without asking this. Again, since you're an expert on insurtech, all this vocab that we hear, blockchain, artificial intelligence, etc., you're a believer in all of this?
I am not a tech guru at all. So on most of those things, I actually rely on what other people tell me, and which makes it very, very difficult. And I think it's one of those things that future executives in our business need to be a lot more in tune with technology. I think I'm a dinosaur in that respect. I think each technology needs to be evaluated and what role can it play. Will blockchain solve all our problems? No, I don't think so. But you definitely need to make use of technology in the business. The expenses in our line of business are simply too high, and I think technology is the way to bring that down.
Understood. Thank you very much. We have 27 minutes, 26 minutes left for questions and answers from the floor. I'm not sure there are microphones. If not, can you just arrange for one? If there are any questions from the floor, first, please identify yourself. And you have the discretion. Please limit it to one question, and let's see how it goes. You can address it to any of the panelists over here. If not, you can leave it to me, and I will make sure one of the eminent panelists over here can answer it. I prefer to have a mobile instead of somebody walking. Do you have any mobile microphone? I mean, we don't want people to come and make a speech. Unless you have a strong voice.
Maybe in the meantime I can add
Sure.
on your comment on the insurance cycle. It reminds me a little bit about if there is a bubble in equity markets. There's always that comment on this time it's different and it's not a bubble. I think before every hard market there is talk about the cycles have gone and the future is the new norm. And then every time the world surprises us with events that we have not foreseen. I think none of the events that we have seen in the last few years, and that includes, I think, last weekend's hurricane, are anywhere close to what an event could be.
Yes, we have not reached the tip. All right, any questions from the floor? I must have been intrigued. We've done all the work and asked the question. عفوا. استنفذنا كل الأسئلة المدام لم يتقول. ما أدري يعني. Must be doing. Nothing there? Okay then. Okay. Yes. Please. From Anadolu in Turkey. Yes, Mr. Ardikan.
Well, first of all, thank you for all the information shared with us. My question would be to Ahim, but before that, I need to add something, not to challenge, but to make a contribution. I would have done this at the right time when you said that 45 minutes is the record.
Please.
But we have 5 minutes in our company for certain property loss payments. Mm-hmm. As soon as our clients let us know the claim, the claims payment to be settled into their bank account takes 5 minutes, thanks to robotic process automation, picture evaluation and processing, and application programming interface technologies behind. So it takes 5 minutes.
Fantastic. I don't think you need to break the record. I mean, I'm sure everyone will be very happy with the 5 minutes.
You're already envious.
Turnaround.
That's why-
Envious of the 5 minutes.
That's why my comment was not to challenge yours, but to contribute to what's going on. And my question is, I appreciate the non-traditional product development on your side. It is for sure non-traditional, but I'm not sure if you really get use of that products as a contribution to your reinsurance business, if I would say. Did you really manage to get a reinsurance income from those products that have been created?
We do. Look, I mean, this is all early stages, so it's not meaningful at this point in time. But we will, but that's because of the structure that we have chosen. So we invest in these insurtechs, so we have a shareholding in these insurtechs. We partner with an insurance company, so often we help the insurtech to find the right partner in the industry, and then the agreement with that partner is that there will be a 50% quota share on that business. That is our typical structure.
I see. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ardigan. Yes, please, on the fourth row. في النص رابع.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalam.
Thank you for all the participants for the imminent presentation. We are very happy to listen everybody. السؤال تاعي بالعربية للمدام السيدة الرئيسة لاميا. سؤالين. السؤال الأول حول أسباب هيمنة الخمس معيدي التأمين في العالم اللي شفنا عبر البرزنتيشن أنه تقريبا يحتازون على أكثر من 50% من رقم الأعمال. السؤال تاعي هل هو راجع إلى نفس الأسباب اللي تعيشها شركات التأمين في البلدان تاعنا خصوصا مثلا في الجزائر، التنافس على التسعيرة، بمعنى أنه هذا المعيدي التأمين عندهم نفس استراتيجية التنافس، عاملين دامبينج على التاريف مقارنة مع معيدي التأمين الآخرون في العالم، أو هي راجع إلى الإمكانيات المالية المتاحة، بمعنى أن الشركات راهي تطالب أكثر الإمكانيات المالية، رؤوس الأموال، سيلفانسي إلى غير ذلك، أكثر من هي التسعير. هذا السؤال الأول. السؤال الثاني، حبيت يكون عندنا فكرة حول رقم أعمال الاختياري، الإعادة الاختياري مقارنة مع رقم الأعمال الإجمالي في العالم، لأنه هذا راح يعطينا كذلك فكرة حول الإمكانيات المالية المتاحة من طرف معيدي التأمين لشركات التأمين مقارنة مع الأعمال الاختيارية الموجودة يعني في الأسواق العالمية. شكرا.
شكرا على سؤالك. نعطي المدام لميا. احنا حاولنا نقتصر إلى سؤال واحد. يعني
سؤال واحد.
ناخذ أول سؤال ونوعدك إذا ما في أسئلة أخرى حناخذ ثاني سؤال. أوكي، بس شكرا جزيلا. أحول السؤال مدام لميا جاوب أول شق من السؤال.
الشق الأول من السؤال لو فهمت جيد أن
عفوا ميكروفون رقم 3.
في الحقيقة تموقع الخمس الأوائل وصمودهم على مدى هذه الفترة الطويلة هو أكيد يعود إلى إمكانياتهم المالية القوية، إلى قدراتهم الفنية الكبيرة والتي تتجاوز بلا أدنى شك قدرات الشركات الإقليمية. هذا أمر ثابت بالإحصائيات وفي الواقع، خاصة وأن الشركات الإقليمية هي بدأت حديثا يعني على مستوى السوق الآسيوي مثل تشاينا ري أو كوريان ري أو الجي سي، بدأت في السنوات الأخيرة بعد الألفينات بدأت تأخذ لها تموقعا في العشر الأوائل، ولكن حتى ضمن الخمس الأوائل الفارق يبقى كبيرا بين الاثنين الأوائل وبقية المعيدين. يعني السوق هو عبارة عن حتى لا نقول مونوبول يعني احتكار، لكن هو أمر تفرضه القدرات المالية الكبيرة والخبرة الفنية التي لا أحد ينكرها. حتى فرضا لو أن معيدي التأمين الجهويين أو الإقليميين يحتلون مراتب يعني في الصفوف الأولى، تبقى دائما الحاجة أكيدة إلى الشركات الميجا رياسورور في مستوى سوق إعادة التأمين العالمي، مثل حال الاقتصاديات المتقدمة بالنسبة للاقتصاديات الصاعدة. مسألة واقعية.
شكرا مدام. نواصل. أي أسئلة من حاج سباع من CCR
من فرنسا.
الجزائر.
Thank you very much for all the panelists. My question goes to Mr. Kenneth from Hanover Re. Speaking about the InsurTech and the involvement of reinsurance in this segment, what do you think regarding the traditional partnership of reinsurance companies with traditional insurance companies? Shall we as reinsurers see this trend of development, involvement of reinsurance in the InsurTech segment as detrimental or not regarding our traditional partnership with insurance companies? Because it's a new kind of partner to reinsurers. And this is to say, have we or not interest as reinsurance companies to think about involvement in the insurance, in the InsurTech segment with collaboration and participation and cooperation with the traditional insurance companies, or it's not the case? Thank you.
شكرا.
So I think that's a very good and interesting question. Our position is slightly different to that of some of our competitors who actively get involved in the insurance side, whereas we typically do take the pure reinsurer role and work with our existing client network to partner on these insurtechs. So they, as I said in my presentation, they typically don't want to be insurance companies. I mean, Lemonade in a way is a big exception to the rule. Whether that actually makes sense for them is a completely secondary question. I mean, I firmly believe that the concept of pineapple is better than lemonade, and the guys are clearly saying we never ever want to be an insurance company, because that means we need to put up a lot of capital. There's a lot of capital in the insurance sector at the moment that is not utilized to the full extent. So let us rather leverage the existing capital than put up additional capital in this business. So our approach would be to partner with insurance company, to collaborate with them, and not to compete with our clients.
All right, thank you. Any more questions? Okay, so we have just last question. تفضل.
شكرا. تكلمتم كثيرا عن مؤسسات التأمين وإعادة التأمين. نظن السؤال هو ما هو مستقبل شركات ذات طابع تعاوني الذين هم عندهم نسبة تنمية أكثر من شركات التأمين في العالم؟ هل هناك مستقبل لشركات ذات طابع تعاوني في التأمين وإعادة التأمين؟ ونعرف بلي كاين شركات تعاون طابع تعاوني خاصة في أمريكا اللي هم من أهم المؤسسات للتأمين وإعادة التأمين.
يعني تقصد بسؤالك الكوبراتيفز والتعاضدية والميوتشوالز والألخ موجه السؤال لأحد معين ولا أي واحد يقدر يجاوب؟ هل توجه سؤالك إلى شخص أو معين ولا مفتوح؟
مفتوح.
Who would like to answer this?
I can take that.
Sure. Vasilis over here.
I think that mutuals always have a very significant role to play. We've seen historically, if you look at the markets that you mentioned in the US, in France, where we have had several mutuals, historically they can run at higher combined ratios. Why? Because they have less pressure to deliver results. So for certain personal lines of business, for certain segments, they have a lot of role to play. If you look into this market, I've always been a believer that a form of mutuality, takaful insurers, was a wasted opportunity. Why? Because I think it fits so nicely to develop life, family business. And yet we've seen most of the companies wasting their effort on writing motor. So I think because of the different demands that are on these companies, they have a very valid role to play in the market, but they need to be focused accordingly. And that's why in this part of the world, although there is a lot of opportunity, we haven't seen much success yet.
So maybe I can add to that. I'm also a big fan of mutuals, I must say, but the condition is that they are at least as professionally run as listed companies. So in Germany, for example, there is one mutual that is the largest player in personal lines motor business. Their efficiency is absolutely second to none. I mean, even a company like Allianz, they've lost their number one position in motor insurance because of the efficiency of this mutual. So a well-run mutual, I think, is a fantastic business concept, and it always pities me when mutuals go through a demutualization process and become listed companies. I think very often that is just to service the egos of executives rather than service the clients.
All right. Thank you, Akim. I think the question we left over related to the size of the facultative reinsurance markets within the presentation Madame Lamia has given. I don't know, you want to answer this, Madame Lamia, or Vasilis has some information? I don't know.
ليس لدي معطيات حول
معطيات.
لا ليس لدي معطيات مفصلة حول تحديدا حول حصة الأعمال الاختيارية في إجمالي معاملات قطاع الإعانة. ما عندي المعطيات.
ما في هذاك التفصيل.
Vasilis, just maybe you have this information. I mean, I could give off the cuff, but maybe you have, since you are the depositor of a lot of the insurance/reinsurance. The question related to what is the size of the facultative reinsurance market, whether it's percentage or dollar volume within the overall African or Asian, 60, 70, 10 billion, 100 billion?
I don't have that answer to hand, no. I can give some things that are around it. So I can
I
tell
think we're
you,
looking for some rounded. I mean, nobody's.
I can tell you that it is what makes the big risks, the cat risks, are actually what makes all the business that international reinsurers want to write in this part of the world, and therefore, and the local companies want to see it. So on the net book of the companies, you don't see any retention. and it's all reinsured. Where it is reinsured in
No,
the
sir.
global reinsurance centers. How big it is, I don't know.
Sure. I mean, I could only, from my own knowledge, say the characteristics there, if you look, because the first question related to what are the ingredients of this concentration of top 5 or reinsurers. You could see from the top 5 name of the reinsurers and Munich, Swiss, Hanover, SCOR, Berkshire. First of all, they do treaty and FAC. They are not a specialist. They do life and non-life. In fact, interestingly, on the life, the top 5 reinsurers in the world do 80% of life business. So even more concentrated, okay, than the non-life side. So I think the ingredients of success, if they are a model to be followed, do both treaty, FAC, life, non-life, composite. In fact, the diversification into alternative markets. Some of these top names I've mentioned even do insurance, or they have insurance within the group's operation. Some are just a specialist reinsurance operation. In any case, I think we are through with the over here. We have 5 minutes. I just want 1 minute for each one, just to summarize what is their take out of today. So I'll begin left to right to left.
يعني ما هو مستخلص اللي عندك بدقيقة واحدة أو أقل من ما تكلمنا فيه اليوم. مدام لميا.
هو بما أن موضوع الجلسة هو أساساً توجهات قطاع إعادة التأمين في العالم، كما تفضل بازيليس بدأ قال أنا أقولها باختصار: الآفاق سلبية، في حين نجد أن فيتش قد رفعت من الآفاق من سلبي إلى مستقر. المهنيين يعني بقطع النظر عن آراء وكالات تصنيف المهنيين المتصرفين من خلال لقاءات مونتي كارلو ينظرون بأكثر تفاؤل لمستقبل الصناعة، على الأقل نحو الاستقرار، يعني أن التجديدات القادمة قد تكون نحو الاستقرار وليس في اتجاه الانخفاض كما شهدته. هنا نقول أن الرؤية تظل ضبابية، يعني المستقبل أكيد أن الصعوبات موجودة، ولكن في نفس الوقت سوق إعادة التأمين يتمتع بملاءة مالية وقاعدة ثابتة، وهناك فرص واعدة خاصة في مجال التكنولوجي وفي المجال. ونستطيع أن نختتم هذه الجلسة بنظرة تفاؤلية حول على الأقل وجهة مستقرة.
شكرا مدام. فريد, less than a minute. What's your take out of today?
We have a softening or we have a flattening of the cycle for one main reason. The reinsurance industry globally is a very strong industry. A hard market comes after a crisis, and we don't have a hard market because the industry hasn't gone through a crisis, which is very good for our industry. That's the first point. The second point is that we have overcapitalization in the reinsurance industry, because up to this date, the returns provided by the reinsurance industry is very attractive and very good for investors. So this is also a sign of strength for the reinsurance industry. The third aspect I want to mention is that we need our regional reinsurers. We need our regional reinsurers to be strong, to be equipped to deliver added value services for our companies. And the fourth aspect, we all need to invest in InsurTech. If it's not on product, it's on to improve cost efficiencies, to improve cost effectiveness, to improve processes, because this is a threat. It is a threat from international companies. If our local regional players want to operate and be successful and be profitable, they need to be ready for this challenge.
Thank you. Vasilis?
I think that I'll reflect several of the things that were mentioned. Traditional reinsurers are at the top of their capitalization, and that doesn't talk well about hardening rates. Alternative capital, that had, if you put it in parallel with how we speak about insurers and reinsurers, they had to recapitalize, yeah? And they showed their appetite. So overall, it does not bode well for hardening rates. At the same time, regional reinsurers, especially in this part of the world, have been having a tough time. We've seen several entities that existed coming out of business. They certainly have a role to play, providing capacity for business that are not in the scope of the large insurers. They also should play a greater role in development of the market, either through market development or new technologies. So, on the other hand, a great positive, underinsurance, both on a global level, less than 50% of the economic risk was insured, and that's, that says something. And obviously in this part of the world, we have even less coverage, so there is tremendous potential. Question is how you go from the challenging waters of now to the potential of the future.
Akeem, you have the last word.
Very difficult to add, but let me say that the sector as such, if you really look at it over a longer period, has never had that great returns. So to invest in the sector, broadband, has never been a good strategy, but there are companies who are well managed in that sector and that have outperformed the sector. And that's certainly our aim, both in terms of growth and in terms of return on equity, is to outperform the sector. The trend that the market share of the top 10 players is going to increase, I think that trend will continue. It'll be very difficult to break that trend. And for those large players, as well as for smaller players, a key success factor is whether you get the balance between your expense management and enough investments into the new stuff. If you need to get that balance right. If you overspend on the new stuff, you're going to get into trouble. If you underspend, you're going to get into trouble. So expense management in reinsurance is a key focus.
Thank you very much. On my watch 101, I think we've done well to keep on time, just 1 minute. I thank you very much I thank all the eminent speakers for their research and allowing me to grill them and to ask them. And I wish you a successful continuation of the fair reinsurance forum that we have over here, and a nice stay in Beirut. Thank you very much for all.
Thank you. Thank
Just
you.
small. I said this morning that we are looking forward to a rewarding experience with the forum. I think this session was a very rewarding one. I think Dr. Adel and Mr. Zakar will hand some gifts to the speakers as a token of appreciation of all of us here. Thank you very much.